What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Super MASTR bringing you episode 12 of the Coach Baker Dynasty series. The Boilermakers look to stay undefeated as they finish out season 3, trying to make it back-to-back trips to the conference championship. If you're new here, or if you haven't already, do me a favor, hit that subscribe, hit the like, let's get to it. Picking up right where we left off from the last episode, our training staff does confirm that Michael Engel's gonna be out for the rest of the season with an injury. That means we're gonna rely on junior quarterback Nick Sipe to pull us through. Hopefully he can keep us undefeated. This kid hasn't seen any snaps as long as Coach Baker's been there. How bad can this be? Coach Baker feels like he's just been chopped down. The recruiting trail this week sees us schedule a couple big-time recruits for a visit: Ray DeLoach, William Sanders, Rob Jones, and Kyle Robinson. Next, we've got Tyler Gilmore that's locked us out. We want to unlock him and then top him off with 500. Same goes for Cedric Jones. Noah Dykes looks like he's going to hit harder than Tyson did in his prime, and also Ken Harrell looks as strong as an ox. Let's get those fellas added to the board. Herbie's got the Hawkeyes in this one, but Corso brings the hammer and the hard hat as he believes the Boilermakers will come out on top. Nick Sipe has a chance to be big man on campus, or he could let us down in a big way. Unbelievable. Nick Sipe is able to get our offense moving and keep the winning streak alive. It took overtime, but final score is 27-24. Let's get over that week 8 matchup. We've got a couple stubborn recruits and a trip to Lansing in store for this week. Aaron Jones has decided he wants to lock us out, so we'll go ahead and unlock him, get him back up to 500, and then schedule him for a visit against Northwestern. Clemson sneaks in on Ray DeLoach out of nowhere, so we'll bump him up to 500, and then we'll get David Dunn, Chris Terry, and Clarence Davis. Clarence is a 5-star #1 running back in the country. Herb Street thinks it's finally a good idea to pick the Boilermakers. I bet he'll end up jinxing us. I don't know though, after last week's game, junior Nick Sipe is riding high and looks to take down Sparty, making it 2 in a row. He does it, 31-17. We come out as victors. Let's get over that week 9 matchup against Nebraska. We've got a lot going on in terms of recruiting this week. Rob Jones is a great looking prospect. I want him up to 500. Also found Ronald Harris here. I really like how he's looking. 6'4", 225. We're going to bump him up to 100. Robin Kelly is another 5-star athlete that we'd love to get to come to Purdue. We're going to push him up to 200. Get a couple of these guys scheduled for a visit. Brian McGuire and Cedric Jones. Taking a look at the Heisman race at this point in the season, we still haven't been able to break into that at 3 years in, but I see that changing pretty quickly with all these 4- and 5-star recruits we're signing. Another reason we've been able to climb the ranks of championship contender, finally breaking our way into the A+ bracket. Our new starting quarterback, big long dong Nick Sipe, looks to make Herb Street a liar in this week 9 matchup. Let's get to it. Coach Baker's got the Jones cousins scheduled for a visit. We'd love to see them in black and gold next fall. We're coming in here with Moore, Major, and Barnes looking to make a good stand against the #4 team in the country. Martinez looks to be the only one keeping the Wolves away for the Cornhuskers. Good luck, Nebraska. We get the ball from kickoff and take our first look at big long dong Nick Sipe, who's now our starting quarterback and has been able to move the ball just like Michael Engel would have. Maybe this isn't going to be all that bad. Horvath gets a couple carries on this first drive, keeping the train chugging down the tracks as we convert first down after first down. Nebraska's defense just can't find a way to get our offense off the field. They even get us in a couple 4th down situations on this drive, and they still can't get us off the field. That last pass to Moore gets us inside the red zone where Sipe can pull it on the read option, and he takes off scrambling for his life, picking up a first down, getting us within striking distance where he can find Darius Pittman for a beautiful 2-yard touchdown, giving us the lead. Our defense is able to get a stop inside the 5-yard line on a 4th and short situation, giving big long dong Nick Sipe about 4 minutes and 95 yards to work his way down the field before halftime, making this a 2-score game. He gets us inside the 5, handing it off to Horvath, who has a nose for the end zone and has been finding it all year long, giving us a 2-score lead, 14-0. Our defense gets another stop with about a minute and a half to go in the first half. Big Nick Longdong comes out firing down the field to Jackson Anthrop. Next, he finds Darius Pittman continuing to move the chains down the field on on to the other side of the 50, getting us inside striking distance. We just have to keep this momentum going. At about the 30-yard line with just under a minute to go, Alex Horvath gets the handoff and rips off a huge 20-yard run, getting us inside the red zone, just inside the 10-yard line. On 1st and goal, big long dong Nick Sipe takes off scrambling, finding his way to the end zone, giving us a 3-score lead going into halftime. The Cornhuskers are able to work some of that back in the third quarter as we simmed away, just trying to eat away at this game and get us to the fourth quarter. We pick up in the fourth quarter and we've still got a 1-touchdown lead, and we're still able to move the ball pretty successfully. That is until we come knocking on the red zone, where we're not able to convert on a 3rd and long, getting us in a 4th and 4 situation. Big long dong Nick Sipes looks to Rondale Moore, but the Nebraska cornerback is able to swat it out of his hands, forcing a turnover. Our defense, led by Derek Barnes and Kenneth Major, forces a punt the next time out, getting our offense the ball back with just over 2 minutes to go. Nebraska's trying to call timeouts and salvage all they can from this game if there's anything left to save. After that last timeout, our Hogs up front know that this is their time to shine. All they've got to do is keep shoving that defensive line backwards, keep creating holes for Alex Horvath to run through. He'll find them, and we won't even have to rely on our defense here. We'll just end up running the end of this clock out, getting inside the red zone. And Nick Sipe, being who he is, isn't happy with just one score. He wants to try to throw a touchdown to Rondale Moore just to cap it off and make it a 2-score game, giving us a final score of 28-14. Nick Sipe leads the way with almost 300 yards passing. Let's get over to that Week 10 matchup. Purdue rolls into this week number 2 in the country, still undefeated. After a visit to Kansas State, we're way behind on 5-star athlete Robin Kelly. We want to top him off, get him up to 500. Jumping over to outside linebacker Joe Clay, we want to bump him up to 500 as well. Strong safety David Dunn and guard Ken Harrell are going to join the 500 club too. Coach Baker will put 250 towards Chris Terry and 400 towards Brennan Crosby. Northwestern comes into this game with a losing record at 3-5. This should be a cakewalk, no match for the Boilermakers. We do barely scrape away with a win though, 24-20, jumping over to Week 11 against the Wolverines of Michigan. Week 11 sees Clarence Davis, the number 1 running back in the country, commit to our team. What a pickup. That's the second 5-star in 3 years Coach Baker's able to commit to the Boilermakers. We'll get Noah Dyke scheduled for a visit, then jump over to see that Herbie's not going with the upset in this one. He's calling the Boilermakers are coming out on top. I've already used 2 of my 4 plays, so we're going to sim this week and hope for the best. The Wolverines get absolutely annihilated. Big Nick pulls through again. Just ask the Eagles about Big Nick energy. Week 12 will see the Boilermakers travel to Happy Valley to face off against the Penn State Nittany Lions. At number 1 in the country, 9-0, and the biggest Nick energy flowing through our veins, we just can't be stopped. We've got more 4-star recruits lined up, knocking at the door, ready to commit, like Ronald Harris, Deshaun Bryant, and Brian McGuire. We're lining Purdue up for a dynasty run. We're gonna sim this game against Penn State and jump over to that next to last game against the Buckeyes. Back-to-back dominating wins for the Boilermakers. We keep our number 1 rating going into Week 13 against the Buckeyes. We're going to top off Brennan Crosby and then jump over to that game. Even Herbie knows the Boilermakers can't be stopped. If we can keep this winning streak alive, Indiana should be no problem. Shoe in for the conference, and we should be right in for the Natty. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. 26-24. We beat the Buckeyes. Let's get over to that Hoosier matchup. Final week of the regular season sees Coach Baker find a gem of an outside linebacker, Charles Jude. We're going to top him off to 500, try to add him to our linebacking core. For the second year running, we missed out on a good tight end, so we're left with the bottom of the barrel tight ends. Here we go, Keith Thomas. A couple straggler visits to schedule, Ronald Harris, Ken Harrell, and Brendan Crosby. We'll get that taken care of and then get over to that game and get this season finalized. I just really hope we don't lose this week. It'd almost be like the whole season was for nothing for Purdue to lose to IU. Oh, thank goodness. Look at that. We come out by a touchdown lead, 31-24. Purdue finishes 12-0 for the first time ever, headed to the conference championship, and as long as we can win that, we're headed to the title game, baby. BCS bound. Really the only excitement going on this last week of the regular season, we had Deshaun Bryant, a 79 overall, 4-star receiver, commit to our team. He's going to make a great replacement for the best receiver in school history, Rondale Moore. We'll send him to the end of this season and get get over to that conference championship to see that we're taking on Nebraska 2 years in a row. There's gonna be a big twist coming up in episode 13. Just have to tune in and see what it is. I want to give a huge shout out to the 35+ subscribers and counting. I appreciate you guys so much. All the likes, all the comments, all the views. It just means a lot to me. I appreciate it greatly. If you're new here, or if you haven't already done it, why don't you scroll down just a little bit, hit that subscribe, hit the like button, and we'll see you back for episode 13.